Boom, baby, that's right. It's Car Guy Jake with your Live on the Drive. That's right, guys. Sunny down here in Florida. So I'm going to throw the old aviators on. You guys kick back, relax, enjoy the Car Guy Jake Live on the Drive. I'm the guy that's changing the perception of everybody I can as far as a car buying experience, and I'm doing it one relationship at a time. Now, I'm all about building relationships, not having transactions. Yesterday, I helped a couple get a vehicle for their son that I already had helped them before. So that's the biggest thing, guys, is I'm changing the perception of everybody I can about the car buying experience. I'm Car Guy Jake. Also, I do these kind of videos. I want to pass on something motivational, inspirational, spiritual. I'm 48 years old. I've been to 25 countries. I've got a lot of lessons from the University of Hard Knocks. So, that being said, today I'm going to roll into it. It's going to be I'm going to talk about the energy that you put into something is the energy that you get out of it. Period. End of story. You can go to work, you can go to church, you can have a relationship with your wife, your spouse, whatever, husband, your children. Whatever you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, guys. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest takeaway from this whole live this morning. So that being said, we have an opportunity every day to be as great or as mediocre as we would like. So, as an example, what you speak into fruition makes it so. I was in the Army, as most of you know. I served 10 years with all over the world, all over the globe. Several combat deployments, so on and so forth. And I rolled the roller coaster of rank. All right, my buddy. My buddy William Richardson, I should have tagged him in this. Big Will, we always used to call him Big Willie, but he was like he was my I would say my best friend at Fort Riley when I was there. We would always hang together. So we were talking, and I told him, yeah, man, I was the most highly motivated screw up in the Army. So what you put into things is what you get out, guys. I was highly motivated, dedicated. I wanted to serve my country. I wanted to do my patriotic deed. But boy, I was making some bad decisions. So, I'm going to tell you this story. I got a drunk on duty. I didn't want to be drunk on duty. I wanted to be drunk off duty. But unfortunately, they scheduled me for duty. What were they thinking, right? So, I showed up to work. I'd been out partying all night, I was still drunk, and then I thought it'd be a good idea to go upstairs and continue to drink after they busted me for being drunk on duty. So, poor decisions lead to more poor decisions. Well, after that, I became obnoxious. I know it's hard to believe, but yeah. So in the military, they want you to be highly motivated. They want you to sound off loud. When I became a sergeant, they actually sent me to primary leadership development course, and they taught me how to yell. That's right. They taught me how to yell, because you're going to be out in front of formation. You're going to want people, platoon, attention. You have to project, right? So when I got busted down, when I got in trouble, I became that guy. Like, just completely obnoxiously motivated, and I did it in spite of them, because it was everybody else's fault, not mine, that I had gotten in trouble. I had lost rank, Well, so I became that guy that was completely obnoxiously motivated. Whenever they would call you out of formation, I'd always sound off, "Oh, roger that, let's go, rah, 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 rah." Just completely that guy. Everything I did it to the max volume, max effort, max everything, and I was doing it in spite of them. You know, I was trying to show them that, you know, it was their fault and I was just going to be obnoxious and blah, 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 you know. And I never broke character. Like, I stayed that guy for months, like 3 months. And then all of a sudden, we had a very special mission that we had to go to Kuwait for. And we only needed one platoon. And there was a platoon sergeant and a platoon leader that was picked. And then they could pick whoever they wanted to go on this mission. Well, I was picked. And I was so confused that I went up to my platoon sergeant, the platoon sergeant that picked me to go on the mission. And I said, hey, Sergeant, you know, of course I'm standing in parade rest, you know, this is back a few years ago, buddy. You need to be tight and right. So I go to my platoon sergeant and I go, hey, you know, Sergeant, I was wondering, you know, why would you pick me, knowing that I'd gotten in all this trouble or whatever. And back then they were a little rough around the edges too now. So he's like, Harris, you know, at first I thought you were just being a complete dumbass. Excuse my language. I don't know if that's should be said, but that's what he said, you know. So I thought you were just completely being obnoxious and just completely, you know, for lack of a better term, a jackass, you know. So with being highly motivated, dedicated, you know, obnoxiously loud. But no one could be that obnoxious that long without being the most highly motivated soldier I've ever seen. And because I had put that energy in, because I had done the work, because anything they needed to volunteer for, I volunteered for too. Anything that needed, everything that was about being motivated, I was there to do it. And I realized I had trained my brain, my spirit, and everything to be that guy. You know, and I was like, holy cow, you're right. I am that guy. You know, and I had done this inadvertently. And I didn't realize it for a while, you know, and I was like, oh my God, you know, you're right. I am that guy. What in the world was I thinking? You know, so the energy you put into things is the energy you get out of it. You know, there are times when the showroom is actually dead here. And I relate a lot of stuff to what I do because, you know, either my family or what I do for a living, because let's face it, you know, that's where we spend most of our time, guys, is with our family or in our career. So, you know, there's a lot of times when the showroom is dead and there's nothing going on, but I have customers, you know, coming in to see me because of the energy I've put out, because of what I do for them, because of what I put into this. I get out of this because I put into it, guys, you know, and I get out of it because I am so motivated to help others that it's just natural for me to do it. So after becoming naturally the most highly motivated soldier in the unit, because I'd spoke that out loud so long and I'd put that energy in so long, that I then was that guy. I challenge each and every one of you to be that guy or that girl today. Put in so much energy and effort into whatever it is you feel like you're lacking. Whatever area of your life, whether it's your spirituality, whether it's the relationship you have with the Lord, whether it's the relationship you have with your spouse, whether it's the relationship you have with your kids, whether it's your career, whatever it is, go all in today. But whatever energy you put into something is the energy you're going to get out of it. That's the whole lesson of the day. So you guys have a blessed day. Shoot me a text, give me a call if you need anything.